Good evening, RPG. Good evening, RPG Limit Break. I am Tirasa, your restreamer tonight. Your commentary will be handled by AlexaLaFey and MaggieTheKatt. I hope you enjoy their stream, and I'm gonna turn it over to them.
Hello, RPG Limit Break. Welcome to the first of our two fabulous play-in matches. My name's AlexaLaFey, and joining me tonight is...
MaggieTheKatt, and good evening, everyone, and all fans. How are you doing tonight, AlexaLaFey?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, and you, Maggie?
I am wonderful. Very excited to be here for the first two play-in matches to see which of our runners is going to be moving on to the playoff races.
And just to catch everybody up, we have these two play-in races to determine who of the folks in the league are going to move on to the playoff round. We have tonight's match where the top three finishers will be advancing to the playoff round. And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or excuse me, Eastern Daylight Time, we'll have another race where only the top finisher will be moving on to the playoffs. So these are some exciting races. These runners all have something to gain and something to lose, and I'm very excited for it. How do you feel about it, Maggie?
Yes, we're going to see some very exciting races tonight and tomorrow. Probably going to see some big plays from our runners, maybe making some very bold moves here. Maybe not quite so much tonight because the top three runners will be moving on, with only the fourth place finisher not moving on. But tomorrow night especially, we're going to see some big plays. But I think we're in for some really exciting races tonight and tomorrow.
Is there anything in particular you're hoping for?
I did see in chat while we were waiting for the stream to come up, a few people were looking for a demist hunt, and that is always very exciting. So definitely a demist required, holding either the legend sword or the adamant, and a demist hunt is probably going to be one of my top, something that I would be looking for in these races.
I will note that we have a cane start tonight, so our runners will have access to one of the stronger characters in the game, and I also noticed that he's kind of a green cane. What's your take on that? Do you think that he's like a grass knight?
He could be. He also could be just kind of a take on like an earth dragon. Of course, Kane is a dragoon, like a dragon knight, so he could be just like an earth dragon theme going on.
I feel like earth dragons would have like some sort of weird like poison breath attack. That's definitely what they would do.
Yeah, and that's definitely very cool. Now, one thing that I do want to note real quick as we're about to get started here is that you all may have noticed that we had a 15-minute delay, and that is something that we did implement. And we see a double cane and a mist dragon start right here. Here we go.
The mist dragon giving the package is terrifying.
That's hilarious. So we did want to note real quick as we're getting started that we did have a 15-minute delay. That is a new rule that has been implemented, where now our runners are on a 15-minute delay. They did actually start their race right at 9 o'clock. Eastern time, but they're on a 15-minute delay, so they started 15 minutes ago, but we're seeing their stream on a delay, which is why we're not actually seeing them start until right now.
Thanks for clearing that up, Maggie. And it looks like all of our runners are heading into Loot Baron, which is, of course, a nice play. We've got another cane waiting.
Oh my gosh, it's cane percent.
Oh, I hope that cane percent, ends up being all the characters. I hope we see some Quint Zerker strats. Seeing some... Go on.
I was going to say, I love Kane. He's my favorite character.
Oh, this is so nice for you. Oh my goodness, I'm happy. Ooh, and we have a lunar staff, some more money. Hanging out in Rosa's house. I mean, that makes sense. I feel like her mom is some sort of, white wizard.
Like, she was Rosa's teacher. That's where Rosa learned all of her fundamental basic white magic. Of course she's going to have a lunar staff just hanging out in her dresser.
That's actually what the class is called. It's called Fundamentals of White Magic. And we see Dragus and Nightdew both heading to Mist to check out that package character, and it is another cane. I don't believe it.
Oh my gosh, this is fantastic.
Nightdew immediately resetting out.
Who rolled this? Was this our tracker, Paranoia, who rolled this? If so, then first of all, thank you for tracking for us, and also thank you for rolling this fantastic cane percent seed.
We see life potions and tents in the Baron item shop. Meanwhile, Nightdew is going to raid the Damsian treasure room. There was a Zeus gauntlet floating around in the Baron random treasures, and that should provide one of our canes some additional oomph with their striking. And another Zeus gauntlet in the Damsian treasury. Interesting.
Very nice starting items here for arcanes. That's going to provide some oomph not only for their attack power, like you said, but also for their defense. And if they put their canes in the back row, that'll give them a nice boost to their defense, and then they'll also be able to do full damage with the jump ability.
Ooh, I do like a good cane jump, particularly for getting around nasty counterattacks. We're also seeing Fleury and Nightdew mirroring each other and pulling out the hovercraft, and Fleury taking the hovercraft over to Antlion Cave, and Nightdew taking the airship there. Error looting the Damsian treasure room, and Dragus going for that third cane, gonna get dragooned all around. And we see, the randomized package sprite is...
That's a Rosa who is setting Mist Village on fire. Very hilarious to see Rosa floating around Mist Village and setting the Village of Summoners on fire there. Oh, Tarasu's saying, well, I thought that it was a Rosa who came out at first. Tarasu's saying it was White Chocobo.
Makes sense. I thought I saw a White Chocobo as well. And we see the Quack Kid standing on top of Hobbs.
Not a 100% cane seed. We are joined by a black mage, so we broke our dragoon percent. But Quack Kid is going to be a very welcome addition to this party. Going to be able to add some AOE damage.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is nice to see him here. Certainly nice to see him here. Although I honestly was rooting for a all cane seed. I don't know what the odds of that are, but it would have been nice.
Same. That would have been hilarious and probably not very good odds, but it would have been fun to see.
I saw Nightdew doing something interesting there. Nightdew equipped a dwarf axe and then changed it to something else. Why is that significant, Maggie?
So the dwarf axe is actually a ranged weapon. It provides the same damage from both the front row and the back row, and there's an interesting little glitch in this game where if you equip a weapon that's got that back row damage on it, you get what we call the back row glitch, and you do the same amount of damage from the back row even if you don't have a back row weapon equipped, even after you take that back row weapon off. So by equipping that dwarf axe, and then even after you unequip it, now their canes will be doing full damage even from the back row.
We have Error. Thank you for that explanation, Maggie. We have Error heading straight to Fagul after clearing out that Ogopogo and getting that Quack Kid up on Hobbs. And Fleury clearing out the Calcabrina dolls at the bottom of the Antlion's Den and getting rewarded with a power shirt for his trouble. Meanwhile, we have Nightdew doing, finishing up their Antlion run and walking out the power shirt is not a terrible thing to find, but not a key item. So we'll see our runners heading either to Hobbs or to Fagul next.
Yeah, it's nice for this party because Kane, is a melee powerhouse anyway, and it's going to provide some boost to his damage. But of course, like you said, not a key item, so they're going to have to continue looking for their progress to the underground here.
Meanwhile, Dragus has picked up his third cane, and then peeked the character waiting sick with desert fever in the Kaipo bed, and it was a Cid. Nightdew heading up Hobbs to pick up their Palom, And Fleury already in that Ogopogo fight.
Really nice to see Ogopogo in a low-level spot up here on Hobbs. Ogopogo can be a real rough boss in other spots, like on the moon. That big wave that he's doing takes off a quarter of your hit points, and he'll alternate between doing one big wave and two big waves at a time to do a quarter to a half of your party's health at a time. So nice to see it in an early spot like this.
He's definitely a danger noodle. We're seeing some more moon bosses guarding the Fabul defense key item. We have the D-Lunars, which are, again, a nice boss to see kind of early, as opposed to later where they can cause some trouble with their fire attacks and general jerkishness.
Yeah, and with the canes and the pound picked up here, they're going to be pretty easy to take down. They counter regular melee attacks by casting wall on themselves and then seeing virus off of themselves onto your party, which is a pretty nasty counter attack. But by using attacks like jump and black magic, they will not trigger that counter. So this is a really good party to be finding this fight with.
In the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise analysis business, we call that a jerk move.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. I'm hoping we, if we see Twin Harp tonight, is there any particular type of music that you're looking forward to?
Oh, I really love music from FF6 actually, and there have been some really beautiful renditions that I've heard recently on the harp.
That's
so
lovely.
Maybe some FF6, yeah.
I'm hoping to hear that too. Meanwhile, the King of Fabul gives our intrepid runners a magma key for their trouble, belaying any hope for our viewers for a hook seed.
Yeah, I know that our Hummingway Open participants were really coming together to give our runners that much anticipated hook seed, and unfortunately it looks like that did not quite come through tonight.
Yes, indeed. Unfortunately for, well, anybody who likes seeing our runners suffer.
Yeah, especially the Hummingway Open participants, as anyone who has participated in or watched any of our other league that is going on right now, they know that those matches have had lots of hook seeds. So could definitely the league matches, I know they have wanted to see some of the league matches take on some of those hook seeds, but maybe coming up in the playoff rounds, we'll see some more hook seeds coming up.
I'm certainly hoping for it. We see Error doing some shopping, Fleury finishing up Fabul along with Nightdew, and Dragus picking up their Salem. Salem being one of the best names that I've ever seen, because I feel like you could call him Sal. And Error is doing some shopping in Terraria, and we're seeing some garbage in the vanilla shop.
Pretty standard plays here for the runners to just kind of start overlapping here at this point. Finishing up the rest of the checks on the overworld, doing some shopping, picking up the character on Hobbs if they haven't done so already. Once they get that magma key, we're going to start seeing them go into the underground pretty quickly here, I would imagine.
And we have some shopping percent going on. Again, just to echo Maggie, some pretty standard stuff happening here. And I'm excited to see some mean bosses, maybe in the underground or on the moon. I want some rudeness out of this seed.
Yeah, we've already seen Ogopogo, which we talked about a little bit, so he's off the table, but we do still have, of course, Golbez, Velvalis, Wyvern. Everybody's favorites could be lurking anywhere in the underground or on the moon.
I feel like a Valvalis with 3 canes is, like, just kind of delightful. We see Nightdew going for some additional treasure here, looting the treasure rooms in Troya. What do you think of this play, Maggie?
This is an interesting play. We don't often see runners do this, especially without an Earth Crystal. But with a very melee-heavy party like this, with 3, possibly even 4 canes available to them, they could just be feeling, Nightdew could be feeling that he just needs some extra equipment or money to buy equipment. So not necessarily a bad play. He did pick up, I think, a crystal shield, a lunar staff, some stuff that he could potentially sell or possibly use if he finds the right characters to utilize that equipment.
I agree. I agree with that assessment almost entirely. We see Dragus and Error finishing up the Antlion Cave spot. Gonna get rewarded with that fabulous power shirt. It's very fashionable this time of year. And chat asking for specific bosses at specific locations. And Rivers in chat pointing out that sirens were at the Terraria Vanilla Path shop. And Dragus getting a little bit of trouble with that Calcabrina fight, enabling the transformation by leaving all of one of the types of the dolls alive, but making quick work of that doll as well, and getting rewarded with that power shirt.
I see a dance in play from a check, one of the item checks in Silvera. That can be a pretty nice early game item as well, especially for Palom before he learns any of his powerful spells. That's an item that once you equip it, you can use it as an item, and it does anywhere in the 300 to 400 damage range. Really good if you have someone like a Palom, Iridia, and Edward who doesn't have a lot of damage output early in the game.
Fleury opening up the underground well with the magma key in Agart, our first runner to do so. And our runners still kind of passing each other by. I do enjoy a good dancing dagger. Definitely really nice to have early game. I'm just like, I'm honestly quite chagrined that none of our runners have gone full 4 cane. 4 cane, 1 Palom.
Well, Error is picking up their 3rd cane here in the Baron Inn spot, and looks like they have not. He has not gotten the cane from the package spot, so we'll see if he decides to maybe go get that. I don't know if he's peaked the package yet or not, but he'll at least have 3 canes and the Palom at this point once he beats this spot.
Absolutely. Fleury checking out Tamra in the underground, and Error at Baron, just as you said, and Dragus finishing up that Fabool spot.
Error taking down the Lugay fight in the first Baron Inn spot, and then finding the Magus sisters here in the second Baron Inn spot, making use of that dancing dagger that we were just talking about, since the Magus sisters will use wall, and that will reflect spells from Palom, but the dancing dagger will not be reflected. So nice use of that dancing dagger there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we see that back row glitch coming into play into great effect here. Mega Sister's not a terrible boss to find at the Vanilla Karate spot. Fleury cracking some eggs with those sirens from Troya in the underground. And Nightdew opening up that magma key spot and about to head underground as well. I'm seeing some diversion here, and I really appreciate it. What do you think of that, Maggie?
Yeah, it's always great when there's enough openness in a seed that you see the runners going in lots of different directions. Sometimes a seed kind of pigeonholes everybody into like making the same checks, even if they make them in slightly different orders. They kind of end up making all the same checks. But if they have enough openness that they can kind of all go in different directions, it's really fun to see where everybody ends up going and seeing all the different checks that they make. So it's nice to see kind of the divergence here.
Oh gosh, I really appreciate what I just saw on Error's screen. Error was rewarded along with that cane with the pan. The pan being one of the items that you can use. Well, you use a lot of different items on Yang, but the only one that actually does something on Yang in the bottom of the Sylph Cave in the underground to get another 2 key item checks. From one from the Sylphs and then one from Sheila, his wife, at Febul Castle. So Error now actually is in a very nice position to make that check very quickly and eliminate all those key item spots at once. Whereas our other 2 runners that have entered the underground do not have that pan and will not be able to make that until they complete the Barren Cave.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good heads-up play on Error's part to do that Baron in check first before immediately heading to the underground, just to see if the pan was there, and definitely being rewarded for a little bit of patience there. Meanwhile, on Fleury's screen, he has dived down into the Land of the Summoned Monsters and found the Twin Harp. So we may be seeing some music on Fleury's screen in the near future if he decides to follow up on that.
I'm excited for that. Personally, I'm always rooting for Chrono Trigger tracks. And if not Chrono Trigger, I certainly hope that we get some Final Fantasy VI for you, Maggie. We see Evil Wall at the Vanilla Azura spot, and at the Leviathan spot, we see one of the Mylons. Perhaps Z, perhaps plain original flavor.
Yeah, that Evil Wall is going to be pretty nasty. That's a nasty boss to begin with, and Ashura is very fast. That's going to be a very fast-moving Evil Wall in that spot there. And just to follow up, Chrono Trigger would also be to hear on harp. I've heard some really excellent Chrono Trigger songs from the Twin Harp spot.
Agreed. Agreed. And we see Error, true to form, heading straight down into the Sylph Cave. And Nightdew getting that, or shortly going to be getting that pan from the Barren Town spot. And I wonder what Fleury's next move is going to be. Dragus cracking some eggs, having entered the underground.
We're about to see what the Sylphs are going to give us here. It looks like a Gungnir Spear, so that's a really good weapon for one of the many, many canes that's available to our runners.
Many canes. Many, many, many canes. It gives me no small amount of pleasure to pronounce the Gungnir Spear Gungeoner.
that may or may not be correct. I honestly have no idea. So sure, we can go with that.
I mean, I feel like it's definitely incorrect, but I want to say it.
Why not? That's no harm, no foul.
And we see Error heading up to Sheila, gonna let her know where her beloved husband has been hiding. And Nightdew about to, no doubt, cash in that pan. And let's see what we've got. We have a pink tail and an Avenger, another amazing weapon for a cane. This is looking to be a lovely melee weapon seed, definitely with like 3 canes and some magic users. This is shaping up to be an amazing party already.
Yeah, so not a lot of progression there. The pink tail can be cashed in once they find a hook for another item, not a key item, but a top tier item. So not really any progression, but at least they got some really good items for the party that they have that they can actually use, and not something like a ninja shirt.
Hopefully they can use it against that evil wall at Azura, huh?
Absolutely. I missed it earlier if someone went there, but Error did just check in with the job dwarf, and it was so fast that I didn't even see what it was.
It was a boat builder. It was a boat builder.
Wonderful. And we're building some magma repellent boats down here, apparently.
I mean, I feel like Sid should have really recruited that dwarf instead of the nurses or whatever from the dwarf castle.
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously, Sid, get it together, man. And Dragus. Oh, that was a little bit of a psych out. Oh no, Dragus, it looks like is going to be going after that Mylon spot.
If this is Mylon Z, Mylon Z, which it is, and Dragus has illusions, this is possible. Because all Mylon Z will do is punch you.
Bonk.
And if you have illusions, Yeah, just like that. And he'll punch you very, very hard. But if you have illusions, the illusions can, block those punches. But it looks like Dragus sadly did not have illusions. He was maybe thinking he could jump over the punches, but that Mylonzi was punching pretty fast too.
He does one thing, but gosh, he's good at it. We have some looting going on Era's screen. Era about to pick up that twin harp. No doubt looking for some more equipment for all those canes, especially to deal with some of those enemies. And Nightdew about to pick up that, having just picked up that pink tail and that Avenger. Dragus, meanwhile, heading down into the, doing a quick dip into Sylph. Of course, I don't believe that Dragus has done the Barren Town spot yet, so this will be one of 2 Sylph dives.
Yes, and we will note that no one so far has gone to Mount Ordeals. Not too surprising, since they haven't seen really any of the characters who would benefit from it, like Cecil or Tella or Fusoya, but that can still hold some kind of progression item for them. So we'll see if anyone decides to make that climb and go through all the bosses up there to see if there is anything worthwhile.
Nightdew heading into Dwarf Castle. I do like this play without a white mage. He may be looking for a character, and it is just another check that isn't Ordeals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit tougher than Ordeals. The bosses are going to be more difficult, but if it's you could find Waterhag here, so could be a really easy check.
Absolutely. You could find Wyvern here, too.
Not so free.
Chat rooting for a 5th cane at Dwarf Castle. And Nightdew resetting after seeing that boss. That was a little quick for me. I didn't quite see who was bouncing up behind the throne there.
Yeah, I missed it too. It looks like Fleury. Yeah, Fleury's going to go for it, so we're probably going to see it here.
It was, it was Pain Man. It was Dark Knight Cecil. And Nightdew fixing some equipment and heading back into the fight. And we're seeing some duality here. Fleury and Nightdew both going for it.
Error is going to grind on some eggs. Since we found those early sirens, they can do a underworld grind here. And then meanwhile, Dragus is going to go for music. So chat, get your harp emotes out.
Dragus doing some looting on the way. Error cracking a few eggs, trying to get some levels up. And not a bad idea with some underground bosses in the play, and maybe even a trip to the moon for some folks. And we're seeing a good few of the Canes and Palums still standing over on Fleury's side. And on Nightdew's side, we're seeing much the same. Nightdew's HP totals and levels are a little bit higher, so you shouldn't have too much trouble with this as well. And I'm excited to hear some music. Oh my goodness. Giving the crowd what they want. And let's hope that there is some progression here too.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a long check. The cave itself, kind of long, and then there's a cutscene at the end of it. So hopefully it'll be worth Dragus's trouble to be diving down here.
And he attack you. Oh, and all of the party members had some metal equipped.
So he got that skip, very nice. He doesn't have to sit through the initial cutscene of the Dark Elf casting all the spells. Now we're going to see some rockin' tunes from Spoony B, so we're going to be quiet for a minute while we hear what this lovely harp music is.
And real quick, meanwhile, Fleury and Nightdew about to engage with Kainazo, which is not a terrible spot to find him. Is that Street Fighter music?
I listened to just a little bit of it, and I think it is. And also, we found another cane in the Dwarf Castle.
Oh my goodness, really? Was it really another cane in the Dwarf Castle?
Yes, it was another cane in Dwarf Castle, yes.
Oh, yay. This makes me really happy. There's so many canes. I really want somebody to, like 100% take 5 canes to Zeromus, because it's possible now.
Oh, and we were talking about Wyvern at Dwarf Castle, but Wyvern's not at Dwarf Castle. Wyvern's sitting down here at the end of the Adamant, or the Magnetic Cave.
That is a scary place to find him, although it looks like Avenger Kane has done what he needed to do. He gets Dragus gets that Star Veil off, the Mega Nuke goes off, and yeah, that music just reached there and lowered his defenses.
Absolutely. Good job, Dragus. Oh,
and there's value.
That is value at music.
Wyvern protecting value, and River's pointing out good discipline by Dragus to not panic upon seeing Wyvern there and just going for it, putting up that Star Veil and getting through it. And what were we rewarded with at Dwarf Castle?
Got so excited by that legend sword that I honestly have no idea.
Hey, me too. We're doing such a good job.
Yeah, I'm a tracker.
that was pretty hype though. So I'm all about it. And Fleury doing a quick Kaipo check, sees the Sid there and books right out. And chat letting us know that the white robe was waiting for us in Dwarf Castle. So we've seen so far in the seed a power shirt, a white shirt, and a black shirt. We've seen all the best shirts.
We've got all the colors covered as well, yes.
Power, do you think power is a color?
I mean, yeah, it's clearly red.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're super definitely right. Oh gosh, the floating hand of Dark Knight Cecil. And by Dark Knight Cecil, I mean Kainazo, I guess. Over on air.
They're both blue, so, you know.
They're not powerful then.
No. No, that's clearly like wisdom or something.
Or like ice or something, I don't know.
Wisdom is ice, sure.
Yeah, and power is fire.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, we have Dragus heading over to do that barren town check and pick up another cane, hopefully. And Fleury taking a black chocobo over to do some music. Gonna get rewarded with half of that piece of the puzzle. Nightdew taking out a couple eggs, and Error's doing some inventory management. So far, the seed has been pretty interesting. I've enjoyed seeing that there was progression behind Wyvern at Twin Harp, which not every runner might do right away. What do you think about this?
This has been a really exciting seed so far. We're only 30 minutes into it, and we've already seen music. We've got half of the go mode, and I was just thinking about where our next bit of progression must be, and I think it has to be either at Keyless Tower or Ordeals, because those are the only two checks that we haven't seen. Is that right?
Well, there's also the Fame Arch bosses as well.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So any of those spots. And yeah, we see Dragus about to go fight some DK Cecil. Let's hope that he removed that Avenger Sword. And we're seeing Nightdew about to challenge some of those Fame Arch spots that we were just talking about, perhaps. Certainly doing some looting beforehand. Oh, and I believe that this is Nightdew's first trip into this area. I don't see the Twin Harp lit up on the tracking screen.
Yeah, and it looks like he's looting all the chests right now. And we were just saying when he was in the Dwarf Castle that he's got a few more levels too, so he may actually feel a little bit more confident in taking on the bosses down here now that he's down here as well.
I don't believe that we've seen illusions yet. Also, Error heading down into that Twin Harp location as well, our third runner to do so, and we have a repeat of our lovely Guile theme from Street Fighter on Fleury's screen.
It's really nice when the runners do Twin Harp back to back like this, so that we can chain the music together.
Yeah, I really like it. It's nice. This is nice. I like this. This is a good time.
Good job, runners. You're doing the fans a service tonight.
Good job, runners. And hey, Wyvern, thanks for showing up. You know, you have one job and you're doing it. Oh gosh, and Error getting that skip as well. Quite nice, quite nice. And Nightdew throwing down a save, and let's see if he goes to challenge those bosses. Checking some equipment. We've got Zeus gauntlets, we've got power shirts. Oh my gosh, the equipment on that Avenger Cane is just delectable. I'm really enjoying seeing it. I bet he goes for Evil Wall first.
If he can keep that Avenger Cane alive, he might just be able to beat these bosses down by pure power.
Yeah, superpower and attrition. Oh, and
Exactly.
he's in the back row, I believe.
Now, both of these bosses would definitely benefit from someone who can cast Blink or having illusions, like you were saying. But like you said, I don't think
Absolutely.
we've seen illusions yet, so that's a little unfortunate.
Gosh, that Avenger Cane is doing like 2,500 a pop. He is scary. And we've got Fire 3 on Palom already. Yeah, this is probably gonna go okay for our friend Nightdew. Meanwhile, Mega Nuke destroying Error's party couldn't get that Starveil up in time, unfortunately.
Oh, that is an unfortunate wipe for Error there. So fortunately, it does look like he's saved inside the magnetic cave. A lot of times, runners will. It's at the save point in the middle, so it's not the closest save, but at least he does have a save here. A lot of times, runners will skip the saves in the magnetic cave, thinking that they will not need it. But fortunately, he does have a save in here.
I frequently don't save there, so that wyvern would be scary, for sure. Palom taking a tentacle to the face and just going down like a sack of potatoes. But going right back up with a life potion, which is nice. And we have Fleury making the Ordeals play. Now, I like this play. I like this because there is a chance that you might be not advancing here. And maybe the other runners aren't doing Ordeals. Like, I know that's sort of like weird meta thinking, but like, I still enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned at the beginning of the race, we're going to see the runners taking some chances during these two play-in races because if you win, you advance, and so you gotta think about what your opponents are doing and what you can do to advance. So if you're going to make the plays, these are the races to make the big, chancy plays.
Ooh, and we see that rare glitch where the text box goes up empty. And checking the tracker real quick.
He got the Earth Crystal.
Still didn't really see what was there. Earth Crystal. I feel like that makes sense. Like Mylon giving the Earth Crystal. He's the elemental fiend of Earth.
And Invenerable already calling 2 more canes at the top of Tower of Zot.
If there are 2 more canes, I will. Gosh, I won't. I will probably just be really excited, honestly.
I will be too. That would be great. That'd be great.
We're seeing some dancing canes over on Fleury's screen as he makes short work of Odin. Dragus, meanwhile, is taking on the Baron Town spot. Going to get rewarded with that pan and likely go turn it in. And Nightdew popping a quick save off and going right after that evil wall. I believe that he'll be able to make short work of this with the damage that Avenger Cane was throwing out, even though he's fast and scary here. Error finally taking down that mega nuking jerk over in the top left corner of our screen tonight, and gonna get rewarded with the Legend Sword and some progression. Well, not progression, but you know what I mean.
Well, it's partial progression. It's necessary. So we know, yeah.
You're necessary, Maggie.
Fleury, meanwhile, on top of Ordeals, has found the tower key and the Fabul Gauntlet. The entire Baron army is waiting for him, guarding this tower key.
They're all crammed into that mirror. It's really weird, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of guards. There's a lot of reflections up here in the little shrine on top of Mount Ordeals.
I'm really hoping for Kane %.
I mean, if somebody decides to take all the canes that we've found, we could have an entire party of canes.
There is definitely room to have an entire party of canes on the Zemus fight. It's really could be a thing.
I would probably do it if I was running this race, just because Kane is my favorite character, and
Absolutely.
because why not? I mean, why not? Why, if you had the option for all Canes, why wouldn't you do that?
It's the right thing to do. Meanwhile, Eva Wall is getting awfully close to Nightdew. What happens then? Like, what's bad about that? Oh, and he ends up getting the win.
He gets the kill, but if Eva Wall had gotten... Oh, there's the adamant. Moon is haunted again. There's nothing up on the moon. Not that we've even seen the darkness crystal, although we do need it.
There's the rock.
You know. Yep. So, Nightdew has got half of go mode. Error, Fleury, and Dragus have the other half of go mode.
All right, I'm gonna make a Hail Mary call. Top of the tower is gonna have Luca Key, which is gonna be guarding the darkness crystal, but it's gonna be guarded by Golbez.
Oh, absolutely.
And Nightdew is going for music, so he is going to be rewarded with the other piece of the crystal puzzle, and will be our first runner to have both pieces, which is going to be quite delicious. And all that our runners really need to do is to find those two pieces and away to the moon.
So we have two ways that the runners can get to the moon. There's the darkness crystal, which we've mentioned before, which will let them raise up the big whale and fly to the moon, and then walk down through the lunar subterranean to walk to Zemus. Or they could bypass all of that if they find the pass. And then they could just take the shortcut through Troya to get to Zemus.
It's interesting how many of our initial checks have run into those sort of like dead end items. You know, we started with the package, we found the pink tail, and then we got the adamant and the legend sword. So like we're definitely like seeing a lot of like key item value down here on the over and underworld.
Yeah, it's been very key item heavy. Sometimes you get seeds where it's just the opposite, where it's like key item starved until you get some of the later checks, like you find the darkness crystal and everything's up on the moon.
Fleury, tower key in hand, heading over to do that top of the tower check that I mentioned. Gonna likely fight either on the way up or down the super cannon room boss as well. And Nightdew, about to play us an encore of that lovely Street Fighter music. Error, meanwhile, heading down into the Fey Marsh to challenge the Leviathan and Azura bosses. Let's see what happens on his screen. Dragus, meanwhile, is finishing up ordeals. Gonna take on that lovely, lovely King of Baron, Odin, at the Vanilla Mylon Z spot, and eventually we'll find the tower key and the Febul gauntlet waiting for him in the next room over, in the Kluya's tomb, as I like to call it.
What was in the first spot in Mountain Ordeals before Odin? Do you remember? Putting you on the spot there. Oh,
it was the Baron Guard.
Okay, so we have the entire Baron army guarding this tower key, because we've got the Baron Guards, and then the King of Baron, and then the Febul Gauntlet, which is the Red Wings, guarding this tower key. So this tower key has got to be pretty important, honestly.
We have Fleury about to engage with Azura in the Dr. Luge vanilla spot. Not a terrible spot to find Azura. Not going to be a cakewalk for sure, but at Fleury's level should be doable, especially with a source of reflect.
Yeah, and I don't know that they have any mage weapons like a rune axe or anything, but even if they don't, this shouldn't be too much trouble if they... Yeah, it looks like Fleury's already setting up the Star Veil Reflex to take this Ashura down.
And Nightdew picking up that legend sword, our first runner to assemble both pieces of the puzzle. And now let's see what Nightdew ends up doing.
Still looking for a way to the moon, so it looks like instead of going straight to the underground to forge the crystal, he's going to make the earth crystal check, going up to Zot to hopefully find either a darkness crystal or a pass.
If there are 2 canes at the top of the Tower of Zot, I will stop memeing.
I would hold you to that, but I don't know that I actually could.
I would probably just have to leave the community, honestly.
Yeah, then we don't want that.
All right, fine. I won't do that. Wells in chat saying that he doesn't believe me. I also don't believe me.
I was gonna say I don't believe that either. So,
well,
it's just not possible. Yes.
I'll give up something. I'll give up. I don't know. I'll give up something else.
I don't think you should actually give up anything. I think we should just encourage all of our runners. Hope, because we are again on this 15-minute delay. Just hope that they have taken all the canes that they possibly could have.
I honestly I feel like you're suggesting that we can have our cake and eat it too, and honestly, I like it. Fleury hacking away at that Azura, getting some spells reflected, doing some jumping. Dragus, just doing that top of ordeals. All the Cecils becoming paladins, getting that tower key validated, and Nightdew running up against the Dark Elf at the Vanilla Mega Sister spot.
Did he stop it? It looks like he stopped it. Once Dark Elf turns into this Dark Dragon, he loses the boss bit, so you can stop him with hourglasses, you can cast Weak on him, he becomes a free boss at that point.
He's one of those dragons that you can just knock over. And we have the dream is dead.
It's a yang, not a. It's a yang, not a cane.
It's not even a white mage. It's a punch mage.
Yeah,
which is my favorite way to refer to him. Error, meanwhile, having picked up that legend sword from the or about to pick up that legend sword, I should say, having picked up that earth crystal, fighting against the evil wall, gonna push through it, hopefully. And we find a Edward at the top of the tower. Let's see who the boss is.
So we have a punch mage and a music mage, if you want to refer to them that way.
A song mage? You know, I found out something interesting about Edward the other day. If he is toaded, he can use his sing ability to sing frog song. Isn't that delightful?
Really? That's funny.
That's weird, right? I mean, I could be wrong. It could be just misinformation, but I'm pretty sure that that's actually a thing. And we have Valvalis at the top of the Tower of Zot. Let's show her what we're made of with 4 canes and a palom. And also, I want to point out that Nightdew kept all of the canes and did not take the punch.
He did. Yes, he immediately dismissed the punch mage and the music mage and decided to keep all of the dragoons and the lone black mage that he has. I approve. At least keep all of the dragoons that you possibly can.
Absolutely. Dragus running over to the tower, gonna do both of those checks. And Fleury running into what we know is Water Hag at the super cannon spot. And let's see what the items are going to be. I did not see what the top of the tower item was. Was very excited about punch mages and harpmancers.
Same. It doesn't look like anything new lit up on the tracker.
Ooh, and we have the darkness crystal over on Nightdew's screen. Nightdew with 8 key items. It's unlikely that he'll go for 10 key items, honestly. But we may just see him go for pure zerking and nuking strats. Heading down into the underground and just gonna forge that crystal.
I think that once he forges the crystal, he will actually have 10. The pan is a little bit hard to see, so if you missed one, you may have missed the pan. But he has 9 right now with the darkness crystal, and he'll have 10 once he forges the crystal.
Wow, you are absolutely correct. Yes, I did not count the pan. I didn't count the darkness crystal is what it was, because it wasn't lit up yet.
And then the crystal, that's that one too, yeah.
So yeah, that is good to go. And selling some stuff. Probably wants to pick up the black belts that are in there. Get some extra offense. Black belt adding 5 strength to your character, which is often another strength multiplier or attack multiplier. And yeah, this is shaping up to be a pretty jetty seed.
Now, I also saw that Error went down and forged his crystal after picking up the adamant from the Fey March, but has not gotten the darkness crystal yet. Does have the earth crystal, so if he decides to go dive Tower of Zot, then he will have moon access as well. But looks like he's opting to do keyless tower instead.
And yes, he's doing keyless tower, and then maybe he'll go up to Tower of Zot. It seems like he's not going to go to ordeals, at least not right now. Fleury, meanwhile, does not have the adamant yet, but is doing some equipping, and Dragus heading to the top of the Tower of Zot, gonna fight Azura and pick up whatever loot was up there. And gosh, yeah, Nightdew is just is going for the moon, and likely going to do some grinding on gold dragons up there.
I didn't actually see what was the key item from the tower key, but chat is saying it was a Stardust. I'm thinking that's probably a Stardust rod, which is really good for Palom. Right? If that's what it was. Really good item for Palom, but not anything that they're looking for progression.
You know, I said that Nightdew might be doing gold dragon grinding, but it could be that he's looking to go up the Giant of Babel and do a D-Machine grind. Or checking the character in the item shop up there. We do have Sirens, so let's see what he does next. It can be kind of exciting when you have go mode this early, so like, for one, I would definitely get flustered.
Yeah, less than an hour in and ready to go. Yeah, definitely. I imagine that these runners, these are our league runners. They know what they're doing, but I know what you mean, Alexa. I would be a little bit flustered when you're like, what do next?
Absolutely, and I have every bit of confidence that our runners are going to make the best call for their specific situation. And we see Nightdew doing a quick character check. Let's hope for another cane.
Is it a Moon Dragoon?
You're a poet and you didn't even realize it. And there's our white mage.
It's not a Moon Dragoon.
That's not a Moon Dragoon at all. I almost wouldn't take this Porum.
You don't need a white mage when you've got 4 Dragoons and a black mage. Oh, he's getting rid of his black mage though. Oh, boo.
Yeah, so we're gonna see some quad zerking strats, it looks like.
Definitely. Have they found? I wasn't paying. It looks like he does have. I saw at least a Bacchus. I don't know if he has a stack of them, but at least he's got some Bacchus wines for all of his dragoons.
It'd be nice to see Bacchus wine over on in the Hummingway shop. Also, I believe that with the Porum in the party, it is very likely. Oh wait, no, he's not going to do the D machine now because he doesn't have a source of weak.
Yeah, so definitely.
We'll either see gold dragons or we'll see the earthly dragons.
No Bacchus up in this shop, but did get some coffins and cabins, which are both very useful. And Paranoia, our tracker, confirming that Bacchus was actually available in the underground.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And Nightdew looks like is going to head for the gold dragons with those shiny 10 key items. Meanwhile, Fleury is about to pick up his earth crystal and potentially also pick up his what's the word I'm looking for here?
The adamant. Yes, that thing.
One of the several magic rocks that are in this game.
That rock that we need, yes. And I saw also on Error's screen that it looks like the item from the top of the Tower of Babel was actually the hook.
Oh, exciting, exciting. Well, our runners could turn in that pink tail or a potential rat tail at the tail collector over by Silvera to gain either another key item when that rat tail shows up, or a T4 level treasure at the pigtail spot. Nightdew making a beeline down for that gold dragon, I guess, I don't know. Stomping grounds?
Yeah.
They don't really stomp. They're slithering grounds. Slithering. That's
floating grounds. Yes.
Floating grounds. That's where the trickers are. They're floating.
Yes. I'm calling if any of the runners turn in that pink tail, it's got to be a drain spear.
I mean, it has to be, right? There's nothing else that it could be with this party.
With this party, it's got to be. Yeah.
And Nightdew gonna take out some of these just wretched dragons. They're the kings of this area. And Fleury getting that earth crystal, gonna do a quick save. Dragus taking out that Azura, gonna get rewarded with that hook soon. And Error is about to head up the Tower of Zot, our second runner to do so, and about to get that sweet, sweet darkness crystal in go mode.
Error made us stop in the city of Troya before going up the Tower of Zot and got foiled by the true boss of this game, which of course is the NPCs who block you when you're just trying to walk around town. Like, what's your problem, lady?
Oh, interesting. Fleury decided not to fight Evil Wall and is instead heading straight to the Earth Crystal, which we know is not the best decision.
This could be bad for Fleury. Fleury's going to get this Darkness Crystal, which is going to give him Moon Access, which is, good for accessing Zeromus, but he could go down a deep rabbit hole by checking all the Moon bosses up here before getting his Adamant.
Absolutely. This is a dangerous decision on Fleury's part, but not necessarily the worst one given the information that he has. Nightdew, meanwhile, finishing up that first King Ryu fight and getting 35 levels for his Porum. Throwing an Hourglass, gonna do some more grinding. Error fighting that wretched little Dark Elf, and Dragus chipping away at Azura. Gosh, I'm like starting to get kind of hyped for that all important question that we ask every run.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty quick here. Once
I don't think I'm ready to
done with this grind.
Yeah, I don't think I'm quite ready. Not quite ready to ask it, but I'm excited.
Once Nightdew's done with this gold dragon grind, we'll be getting ready. So chat, I know, start thinking.
Start using that chat brain of yours. The one that got us 5 different canes in the seed.
Yeah, for sure. Whoever came up with that, good job.
I also really appreciate that Nightdew is not using name distinguishers.
So, while we have a little bit of overlap and grinding going on, I do want to do a shout out for our restream team tonight. We have Tarasu restreaming for us. And then Paranoia on tracking duty. Paranoia also rolled this wonderful seed for us. So thank you, Paranoia, for rolling this cane % seed. And then, of course, Alexa, thank you so much for commentating with me tonight. It has been delightful to be in the booth with you.
Oh my goodness, Maggie! I also want to express my gratitude to our restream team, to Rasu, and to our tracker, Paranoia. And Maggie, this has been a blast. I have really been enjoying commentating with you. This to have such a silly jetty seed and such a wonderful chat is really just lovely being in the commentary booth with you. And I'm excited for the next time that it happens.
It's a treat on a Sunday evening, isn't it? Yes, I agree.
And Error finishing up that Valvalis fight, gonna get rewarded with the Darkness Crystal. And we have Nightdew doing some more grinding, Dragus chipping away to Zura, and Fleury also about to enter that Valvalis fight and get that, for him, somewhat dangerous Darkness Crystal. And really quickly, while we have some overlap happening here, I also want to let all of you listening and watching tonight know that we have another play-in match tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on this channel. Your commentary team will be Invenerable, the acclaimed invitational champion of Free Enterprise, and Free Enterprise's own Rivers McCone doing commentary. And I'm excited for that commentary team. And then after that match, we will hopefully be having our draft for this year, where our captains will draft their teams. So action-packed Monday evening for us. Very excited for that. And please tune in and chat it up in the chat, and I'll be watching there with you, folks.
And I think Kitty is the restreamer tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken. So
Terrifying.
we might be seeing a Kitty special tomorrow, indeed.
That would be amazing. Error, meanwhile, turning in that Darkness Crystal, gonna check that character, pick up that Porum. Fleury about to get the Darkness Crystal as well. Dragus fighting Azura. And Nightdew appears to have finished his grind and is heading down to that final save spot.
So we talked about a question a little while ago that we need to start thinking about. We're getting a little bit closer to asking that question. Chat's ready. Look at that.
They're throwing up some sort of strange Z question mark flag. What's that all about?
It's a Z with a question mark on a flag.
How do you pronounce that?
Z?
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 Was it Z?
Is it a Z?
So Maggie.
Alexa.
My amazing, wonderful co-commentator.
Oh, now you're gonna make me cry.
Here in the booth with me, I have a question for you.
Yes, Alexa.
Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
Oh my goodness, that question. Okay, so...
Z?
Chat has already got their wagers in. I think we're gonna kick... We talked about Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger already, but we missed on both of those and we got Street Fighter. So maybe we're gonna see some Street Fighter in the Z sprite tonight.
I'm always rooting for feedback and ideas. The channel from the Discord as the Zemus sprite. I know that it's in there. It's in the pool. I've just never seen it. But barring that, honestly, I'm hoping for Labos or maybe Kefka. I feel like we need to get, as commentators, we deserve them.
Any of those would be fantastic.
Or honestly, Kane would be really the best. Fleury and Error getting that Porum.
That would finish the seed.
That would be just delightful, honestly. And Dragus heading down into the Fey March, gonna try taking on those Fey March bosses. Meanwhile, we have Zemus transforming, and oh my goodness, it is Devimus, and I believe that this is the final boss for Breath of Fire 2.
Yes, indeed. A very nice rendition of this boss. Nice and big. Takes up most of that side of the screen. Kind of terrifying.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to see a lot of berserking going on here. Nightdew just taking a pause to see who gets nuked, tossing some curative items, and just very exciting stuff happening over here. Very exciting. And Error heading down into the moon, and Fleury also following him and going down what is unfortunately a rabbit hole.
A very, very deep lunar rabbit hole. It's almost like a Hemingway hole.
That, I don't know if we could say that.
It's a Hemingway rabbit hole.
Oh, it's a rabbit hole because they're rabbit people. They're rabbit. Oh, this is so amazing. Oh, Maggie.
They made this entire lunar subterrane full of all these key item checks for Fleury that we know don't lead to anything, and it's very sad. A burrow, as kind of nerdy housewife points out, yes.
I like that idea. It's the lunar sub-Tyrannosaurus burrow.
Yes! Yes! Tyrannosaurus making that Chrono Trigger reference. I like it.
I mean, I do like a good Tyranno. I like the Rust Tyranno, too. That's always fun. We have Dragus heading down to challenge Mylon Z and Evil Wall. Meanwhile, Error is making a beeline to, no doubt, do some grinding down here. And Fleury is making his first save. Gonna take on some bosses. At the very least, we will be able to see who was waiting up here for us. Who is guarding which key items up here. And Nightdew chipping away at that Devon Miss HP. We are seeing some nice HP levels. We are seeing berserking going on. And I honestly, like, this party is strong, in my opinion, and he's not going to have too much trouble with this.
Yeah, very, very good. I mean, there's not a lot of variety, but you don't need a lot of variety when you've got damage dealers who are putting out 1,500 to 3,000 damage.
And Dragus taking on Mylon Z. Taking some physical hits there, but still doing good. Error and Fleury both taking on some gold dragons. A lovely move to make. Got to get them levels to take on moon bosses, of course. And we're seeing falling rocks on Nightdew's screen at the final stages of this fight. And we are very close now, folks.
Gonna see the flash any moment here on Nightdew's screen.
And there it is.
There
GG
it is.
Nightdew, our first place finisher for this first of our 2 play-in matches. Nightdew guaranteeing his spot in the playoffs.
Finishing with a time of 1 hour and 3 minutes, it looks like, coming in first. So GG to Nightdew.
Let's see if we can get him in for an interview. Hello there, friend.
Hello.
GG to you. GG to you. Congratulations on your first place finish.
Thank you very much.
What did you feel when you saw the Legend Sword?
I already felt super ahead when I pried the adamant off of Evil Wall to Sura, because I knew I kind of didn't over prepare. I prepared. I just wanted to one-trip Feymarch. I'm thinking, okay, well, hey, we need that. We need that Darkness Crystal. And as soon as I checked Earth Crystal off, I'm like, okay, let's just go do the whole loop for music and the Earth Crystal. I'm like, oh, hey, look, Legend Sword. Well, we still need Cure 3s or a healer. We're right next to Zot, but I'm feeling I'm feeling like in first place at that point in time, honestly.
Fantastic. And you executed your Z fight admirably with your party of Canes guarding their 6-year-old friend. And yeah, that was just, I'm really glad that you didn't dismiss a Kane when you saw Yang and Edward. I mean, why would you? And I'm really glad that you went with the White Mage. I thought that was a very nice move. How did you feel about tonight's Z sprite?
I really love Breath of Fire too, so I'm always happy to see some Death Evan out there. So always good to see that one.
Just want to make some space for Maggie, of course, to ask some questions as well. Do you have any questions for Nightdew?
What made you decide to go to the Twin Harp spot instead of anywhere else as soon as you got the Adamant? Because I believe that you had the Adamant first, and then you that was the next spot that you went to, was where the Legend Sword was. What made you decide to go there instead of you still had like the Tower of Babel, you had a few other spots that you could have checked. What made you decide to do Twin Harp?
At that point, I was down to Keyless Tower, Ordeals, and Earth Crystal, Twin Harp, and I'm like, okay, well, we have that whole Twin Harp to Earth Crystal kind of both on the way thing. No moon access. If I had Darkness, I probably would have dove the moon immediately at that point. And it would have been bad. But yeah, I figured, okay, the twofer's up there, let's go get the twofer, and we got very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, very nice play doing the Magus Cave and then going straight into Earth Crystal, chaining those two together. What did you think of the double Kane start, seeing Kane in Baron Inn, and then if you checked the package, that was yet another Kane. What did you think of this Kane percent seed?
I mean, part of me was a little sad I did not pick up Kane number 5 and go Quintzerker.
I just I would have lost it, Nightdew, if you did that. I would have had a really good time.
We were all rooting for someone to do 5 Canes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm as soon as I grab the Darkness Crystal, I'm praying one of two things. Either there's a white mage on the Lunar Throne, or there's Cure 3s in the Hummingway shop. Because Cure 3s, I believe, had to be in Cave Evelyn, if I'm thinking of the seed correctly. Or did I? I may have missed going to Tamra, so that may have been a thing. So, but yeah, I'm thinking, okay, I need healing. I have like all the DPS I ever need because Avenger is still alive. I mean, Avenger Kane is the only reason I beat Evil Wall. I am just hoping for that last little piece I need to finish. I've never been happier to see that 6-year-old white mage on that step.
If you hadn't seen the white mage there, what would you have done?
That's a hard one, honestly, because I probably would have dove LST looking for a hook.
Wow, then that would have been scary too, given especially that just what's down there. You know, we're seeing Mom Bomb down there. We're seeing Elements, which is kind of annoying, particularly without a decent source of black magic. And meanwhile, just to bring us back into the match proper, Error is about to proc that Zemus and reveal what is behind his blue swirliness and take on that Zemus fight. Also with a party of all Canes and a Porum. Exciting stuff. Nightdew, do you have anything else to say?
No, glad to be back in the round of 16. Look forward to draft nights. I look forward to trying to defend this second place we had last year.
I am looking forward to it as well, my friend. I am looking forward to it. And have a lovely night, and I'm looking forward to seeing you compete in the playoffs.
Thank you very much.
All
GG, Nightdew.
GG, my friend.
GG.
And we're seeing the Spoon at the White Spear spot over on Fleury's screen. So that's 2 spots down on the moon. The other spot had a White Spear and another item that I unfortunately was not able to see. Error is blockissing up at the Zemus fight. And his Porum is down, but I do believe that he will be fine. His levels are a little bit lower than Nightdew's were, but honestly, with a lot of Bacchuses, I think that he could just power through this.
Yeah, we saw...
Unfortunate nuke to that Porum, though.
Yeah, we saw Nightdew take out this Zemus fight pretty easily, even with slightly lower levels. I don't think Error is going to have any trouble getting Porum up here before he zerks all of his Canes. So she should be able to get a off now before any other big bangs come out, and then he should be able to finish this fight up without any further trouble.
Meanwhile, Fleury is getting put through the ringer with this Baigan fight. Not a fun boss to see in the Ogopogo spot. Not impossible for sure, but just sort of annoying with his physical attacks and his weird arms, and snakishness, and that strange hat that he's wearing. It's just a bad time for everyone involved. Dragus is cracking some eggs, looking to perhaps take out the Fey March boss spots with some more levels. And 4 Canes, of course. And Fleury is the only of our runners so far to display a varied party, taking advantage of that Punch Mage that we saw, taking taking Porum along for the ride, and only holding on to 2 Canes. So we're going to see some variety in Fleury's party. Error is nerfing a Big Bang with the crystal and taking a nuke to one of his canes. No doubt seeking to keep the canes alive as possible and getting them as zerking as possible, and clogging up the ATB queue with as many actions as possible. And yeah, just an exciting quad zerker fight. I'm really enjoying seeing these. Maggie, what do you think the best thing for Dragus and Fleury to do right now is?
Well, obviously they need to find that adamant, and it looks like Dragus is on the right path going back down into the Fey March. If they have if they have SRL chat open, they may have seen the dot done already on Nightdew's side, but sometimes the runners don't like to leave the SRL chat open, so they may not even know that Nightdew is finished. Sometimes they don't like that meta knowledge, so it's possible that they don't even know that Nightdew is finished already. So they may not realize that it was a jetty seed, so that may be why Fleury is not going right back down to the planet already.
I agree with that, definitely. And I just want to point out that Dragus is fighting the evil wall now, and with those extra levels, we'll likely be able to push through it. And be in also a good position to see that Earth Crystal, and we may see him immediately run to the moon after seeing that Earth Crystal, or run to Zot and then the moon, provided that he's able to get through evil wall and get that adamant now. Fleury, meanwhile, going to check the Crystal Sword spot on the moon, and Error is chipping away at that gigantic, weird, gloopy dragon monster thing. And we're seeing falling rocks.
There's moon rocks coming down on Error's side. This is the last phase of Zemus. Ooh, but that took his canes down really into critical. Killed 3 of his 5 party members, brought the other 2 down to 200 some hit points. Hopefully he can pull through this. Oh, he does have 1 elixir, or I don't know if there was more than 1. I saw at least 1.
Yeah, I definitely also saw 1. And maybe this jump will be able to help too. This is a nail-biting fight towards the end here. Oh, Kane S, dodge some of those meteos. Oh no, he's just gonna have to go for it. He's just gonna have to go for it. Taking a Bacchus up. And we are gonna, this is the nail-bitingest. He can take at least 2 more of those meteos, judging by the damage, unless they're like very high damage rolls. And he's got like, oof.
Yeah, he can
and there's the flash. Oh my goodness.
Oh goodness, yeah, he could have taken 1 more of those, but we see the flash, and Error has come in second with a time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 49 seconds, securing his place in the playoffs. So GG to Error.
GG Error. And it looks like Dragus has gotten through that evil wall fight, got the adamant, and let's see what he does next. And we have Error joining us. GG Error, what a finish. What a magnificent finish, sir.
So you may have noticed I'm playing on emulator, and I was all hovering over that reset button.
Oh my gosh, I did not see that actually, but oh my goodness, that was
Noticed
amazing.
that my emulator paused right after the flash, because how the flash was like, and then I just instinctively like clicked. It's like, no, don't reset.
I did see that.
Go hit done.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I thought you were just navigating the IRC. Oh my gosh. Oh, Error, that was really lovely to watch. Thank you so much for doing that. And you know, congratulations on your win. You've guaranteed yourself a spot in the playoffs.
Thank you.
Tell us about how you're feeling.
I don't know what I would have done if there wasn't the white mage on the moon. Because
that's the question, right?
Maybe I just missed them, but I didn't find Cure 3s anywhere. So I wasn't sure whether I would go back to Earth and go to Eblin because I found the hook at the top of tower and see if Cure 3s were there, or whether I would have just leveled up a little bit more and just said, all right, Canes, all 4 of you are zerked. Have fun.
Yeah, I really have been enjoying all these canes. Now, did it ever cross your mind to go like find more canes? Did you ever think that you could have like a bunch of canes?
Well, yeah, because I checked package immediately on the off chance it was Fu. If it was Fu, I would have picked them up just right off the bat. But
Right.
package character was the 5th Kane.
It was pretty delightful to see, honestly.
We were rooting for somebody to take 5 canes, and unfortunately, nobody did.
It's just too much of a time loss there.
It makes sense.
But-
It makes sense. So, how are you feeling going into these playoffs?
I don't know. I'm glad I made it.
I'm glad you made it too.
There's a bunch of people in the playoffs that I definitely consider just overall better at Final Fantasy IV and Free Enterprise than I am, so I feel like I'm quite a bit of an underdog. I mean, I didn't make the top 12, that's why we're in the play-in races, right? So, but it's a randomizer, and just you have to make the right decision in randomizer, and so anything can happen in that sense.
I like that attitude, Error. I think that you're gonna do well. I'm rooting for you, and I'm excited to see where you get drafted to.
We'll see. But
all right.
other than that, at least there is enough Kane weapons because found the Gungnir, found the Avenger. Blizzard Spears were buyable, and I'm kind of sad I didn't buy another one and sold the Blizzard Sword because I had a Kane with a Dwarf Axe, which was unfortunate.
Right. Do you have any questions for Error, Maggie?
What do you think was the the hardest part of this seed, having all canes and a black mage? Was it just having no access to white magic, or was there a particular fight that tripped you up?
It's more, a lack of healing in general, but we didn't really run into any bosses that required copious amount of healing, at least, for the correct path. Either you're going to get one shot, or or the bosses weren't threatening enough to really need healing. So, in that sense, it wasn't a particularly difficult seed for the most part. The biggest thing I missed from not having a white mage is access to blink, actually, instead of access to healing.
Yeah, because I don't think we saw illusions either, did we?
As far as I'm aware, we didn't see any illusions.
Yeah, and I know that probably would have been helpful in some of those Feymarch boss fights.
Right. But neither of the Feymarch bosses were particularly threatening because it's just basically single target damage. So you just life them up, and 1 HP is just as good as 1,000 against those bosses.
Right. Well, I think you did excellent. GG on your second place finish, and I'm really excited to see your playoff races coming up. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, or any further comments?
Other than about the only routing mistake I feel like I made was going tower before Earth Crystal. Because I don't know what I was expecting at the top of tower. Earth Crystal would have been a lot better because of the lack of white mages. And so I should have, checked the 2 character spots first. But other than that, I'm not disappointed with the way I played or routed it.
Well, thank you for joining us for this interview, Error, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the playoffs.
Thank you.
GG, sir.
GG.
And meanwhile, we've seen Dragus and Fleury both get the pieces that they need to get to and make the choices that they need to make to finish up the seed. And it looks like Fleury is in the lead and will be finishing shortly. Meanwhile, Dragus is on the way to the Darkness Crystal and still has to grind. And yeah, it's looking pretty clear. Wouldn't you say, Maggie?
Yeah, unless there's some really, really unfortunate wipe on Fleury's side here. I was a little bit worried for Fleury, getting baited by this moon, but he did get all of the levels that he needed coming up here, so he's not going to have to grind, whereas, Dragus was hunting in the underground, he didn't get as much XP, so he not only didn't find what he needed, he also didn't get the XP. So yeah, he is a little bit more behind at this point.
Let's see if Dragus decides to mix up his party. Says no to Yang, says no to Udwarn. Udwarn, of course, being the Prince of Damshiarn. And Fleury doing a quick save, checking some agilities, moving some characters around, and it looks like he's going to be heading right into that fight. Got some really good equipment. Putting that white spear on Kane, taking off the Avenger. Why would you do that before the Z fight?
So another interesting little glitch that our runners are going to, or Fleury at least, is going to exploit here, is what we call the Avenger glitch, where if you have a weapon that is not the Avenger equipped at the start of a fight, and then you equip the Avenger after the fight starts, you keep the stats of the original weapon, but you get the berserk effect of the Avenger after you equip it. So by equipping the White Spear, that Kane will have the attack power of the White Spear, but will get the berserk effect of the Avenger.
Wow, thanks for explaining that, Maggie.
Very useful glitch to exploit, but it can be a little bit dangerous. There's also a secondary effect that can happen where your characters can get kind of stuck if they die, and then you raise them and they don't get their turn, and they kind of get, I don't know the specifics behind it, but like if they die and you berserk them before they get their turn, and with the Avenger equipped you're going to be auto berserked, they can get stuck not taking any actions at all. So it can be a little bit dangerous. Probably with this setup, I don't think Fleury's going to have any worry of that. But that is another kind of effect of having the Avenger and using the Avenger glitch.
Right. And we see Fleury entering the fight, and Dragus summoning the big whale with the Darkness Crystal. And let's see a nice clean Z fight here, Fleury. None of that fancy super reflecty nonsense or punch majory or zerking. Nice clean, just using the fight command. No, seriously though, we'd like to see some strats other than boxing tonight, giving us some variety.
Yeah, our only runner who does not have a bunch of canes and a quorum. He has some canes and a quorum, and a few other characters. So we'll see. He's probably still, he's still gonna be punching with that Yang, but we'll see if he decides to do any reflecting with that Palom.
I feel like Yang is like the front man of this weird band. Two sets of twins and a karate man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Young's your face man here.
You know, when you said Young's, for whatever reason, I thought that you were gonna say Young's your uncle.
Well, he could be that too. I mean, he's definitely the most responsible adult of this party.
100%. He is responsible for all these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between Avenger Kane and like Gungeoner Kane.
And these two what are these two 6-year-olds doing on the moon fighting this big demon dragon thing?
Maggie, they're saving the world.
They're 6.
Right, it's a JRPG.
Yeah, okay.
It's weird.
I mean, Kane's only like 20, so...
Yeah, it's fair, and I think Yang is like he's probably the oldest of the like younger characters at about like 40, I think.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
old.
Yeah, he is really like Uncle Young. Yeah.
Nunky Young,
Yep.
as opposed to Nunky Mop, who is the other uncle in this game.
Exactly.
We're seeing some reflected spells happening over on Fleury's screen, of course. Dragus making a beeline for that gold dragon grinding spot.
Yeah, got through Tower of Zot without any
Maggie.
problem. Yes.
Why would you want to reflect spells here?
Oh. So, for one thing, Zemus will counterattack your spells with spells of his own. I think that he counters black magic spells with Nuke. You're kind of testing my knowledge there, Alexa. But he uses counterattacks.
Yes, he does.
Okay. But yeah, he'll counterattack directly cast spells with really nasty counterattacks. But if
This is going to be on the test.
Yeah, so everybody listen up real carefully. So if you reflect spells off of your own party onto him, Zemus does not counterattack. So that's one reason why we see the runners using these reflect strats.
Right, reflected spells don't trigger counterattacks, which is like the crux of a number of different strategies that we use. These 6-year-olds are doing a lot of damage, of course, and the Punch Mage and his two Dragoon cronies are, of course, wailing away at this gigantic dragon. And we see the flash. Fleury has finished. GG
And
Fleury.
Fleury has secured his spot in the playoffs, coming in third place with a time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 36 seconds. So GG to Fleury.
Oh, congratulations, Fleury. Oh my goodness, I'm excited for this interview. Assuming that Fleury is down to do an interview.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get him in here.
Let's see. Let's see. And Dragus finishing up against some gold dragons, doing a bit more grinding.
And I think that we are now joined by Fleury. GG on your third place finish.
GG, Fleury. Congratulations on making it into the playoffs. As Fleury is adjusting some audio issues. Oh, hello, Fleury!
Oh my goodness. Hello.
You did it! You saved the world!
That was a close one. That was a close one. Well, okay. I guess we can address the big old elephant. Someone once told me that the Fey March is a waste of time and you should never do it ever. And doing it is only going to come back and haunt you. And oh my goodness.
Can we say hashtag blame Inven?
Oh, for sure. I'm sure during the actual stream he was probably like, I just told him not to do Fey March and he's not doing Fey March and it's gonna lose him the match.
Yeah, I think I saw some
blame
I saw some comments along those lines, yes.
So I guess looking at the first like 30 to 40 minutes, I thought that was about as clean a game as I can play. By the time I got to the Leviathan spot, I did ordeals with a gauntlet. Oh boy, that's fun. But by and large, like I was really happy with where I was at. And at the time, I was like, okay, Evil Wall at Asura is kind of a pain in the butt. It's going to be an attrition fight. It's going to probably take a while. I could either go back and level up, or I can skip it. There's 7 spots on the moon, so 1 out of 8 chance that this has the adamant. I like my odds at 80 some odd %. I'm gonna go to the moon.
I do also want to point out, Fleury, that you were the only of our thus far finishing runners to do ordeals, and thus to do the second part of the tower. And you also did a bunch of the moons, so that like to factor that into your time, like I feel like execution-wise, you were very close to the other two of our runners that have finished.
Yeah, when that tower didn't pay off, I was like, okay, I'm a few minutes behind because, probably not going to do with Team Jumpman, going to do ordeals. I decided to take the risk because I was hoping K-March didn't pay off. And I was like, all right, if I see 2 people finish, I've got to bail. And Nightdew came in at 103 at the time I was doing like my first boss, and I'm like, I'm not that far behind if he decided to go to the moon too. Maybe he went top down. I'm like, all right, let's give this a couple more bosses. And then when the second one finished, I'm like, all right, I've already done 3 moon bosses. It's very likely they didn't even touch ordeals in the tower. It's clearly not going to be behind some kind of chain after the moon. So I'm going to put a save on the moon, go back and check the Asura spot. And man, it's a good thing I did.
Absolutely good. A very heads up play. If you were obviously checking the SRL chat and taking that into consideration, what made you decide to do the harp check instead of, you did that first, I know, but what made you do that instead of once you found you had the darkness crystal, like what made you do the harp check very first instead of doing anything else?
Well, I don't think I had the darkness crystal at the time because the Feymarch bosses were the last 2 things I did, and Feymarch had Earth, and then I went and did Zot because nobody likes Evil Wall of Asura. Harp, I thought, kind of made sense. I'm not as... If you have exits and you have a good melee team, I don't feel like Harp is as big of a time investment as it sounds. When I time it, my Baron castle is almost always like a minute slower. Ordeals is like mega slower. So like I don't feel too bad for the Harp. I also kind of don't like going to the moon without having one of the 2, unless like the team kind of demands it. So the reason I feel that way is because at that point you're almost guaranteed to full clear the moon, and if you full clear the moon and it's not paying off, that's kind of iffy. So yeah, it was basically, I said the play, I'm gonna pretend Evil Wall has nothing at Asura, and that was kind of my thought process going on.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Fleury. Do you have any other comments for our viewers or for us, the commentators, especially as you head into these playoffs?
Well, I remember when I had first started doing this, I think I started playing like about 2 weeks before the opening qualifier, and I hadn't qualified, but I watched a bunch of these matches and thought to myself, I want to be one of these guys in that draft setting, in that top 16, and it feels very rewarding that after about 400 or so races and 98 practice seats that it paid off and I'm in the top 16. So I'm super excited. Looking forward to the next match, and we'll see who falls where.
Well, GG on your finish, and congratulations on moving on to the playoffs.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the commentary and the restreaming, and yeah, thanks guys.
Thanks for joining us, and good luck in the playoff matches.
And that was Fleury14. He'll be moving on to the playoff matches. It looks like Dragus is getting ready to go into his own Z fight. As the 4th runner, we know that he unfortunately will not be moving on, but he is going to finish out this seed for us. So let's root Dragus on as he takes on Zemus here this last time tonight.
I honestly am very impressed that Dragus is committed to saving this world. Go, Dragus.
Absolutely,
You can do
absolutely.
it. Oh, and Dragus has 3 canes, and then the Palom twins.
Nice little mix-up. No punch mage, but got some black and white magic.
I really liked the meme of punch magery. I heard that at the last commentary I did, I believe. Dimbu said something about punch mages, and I was like, oh, that's a thing. I didn't know about that.
It's very nice. It's very appropriate.
He's a wizard of punches.
And we have 3 wizards of jumping in this party tonight.
The jump wizards. Yeah, Kane Jumpman Highwind. He learned it from Mario himself.
Absolutely.
He's a jumpin'. He'd do well in the Mario Kingdom. We see this Devimus being created and some nukes going off, and we're nerfing that first big bang. We're gonna see a nice good clean Z fight here. None of that, none of those extra stratagems.
No, Alexa, we talked about this in Fleury's last fight, that we want to reflect those spells so that we don't get the counter attacks. Why would Palom want to directly cast that first nuke?
Asking leading questions about things I already know the answers to is my thing, Maggie. You can't do it. I'm just kidding. I'll totally tell you.
I'm going to pick up on your strategies and do them, Alexa.
That's what we do. We learn from each other's strats. Now, I don't exactly know the science behind it, but essentially by casting magic directly on Zemus, while you trigger that nuke counter, you also reset his magic power by doing so. So there is the strategy, and Big Bang, which is a magic power-based attack, can be nerfed by doing so. So you'll see folks sometimes cast nukes directly on Zemus, or Devimus in this case. You'll see folks sometimes use the crystal or another item in their inventory on Zemus, which will trigger the same nerfing of his magic power. And there is a timing to it and a science to it. The first Big Bang that you do can really be done at any point before he does that little shake that indicates he's about to use Big Bang. And then afterwards, I believe it's like 2 or 3 ATB ticks after he does his little Big Bang shake is when you're supposed to have the cast the spell, and then that will reset his magic power and nerf the Big Bang, so it does not do upwards of 1,800 to 2,400 damage. It'll do something around like 1,000 instead, keeping your party alive.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you for the detailed explanation.
You're very welcome. Thank you for asking. I like explaining stuff occasionally. I'm usually the one who's asking the leading questions. And we're seeing a nice, delicious Zemus fight happening here. It looks like Dragus is not going to nuke that Big Bang, although going with a direct, maybe going to attempt to nuke the Big Bang here with a direct nuke cast, and some zerking going on from our front runner Canes, yeah, this is a Z fight. It's happening. He's getting. I like when it's the big sprite because he gets all super nuked, and Quad 9's going up, getting that. Ooh, and Porum taking the nuke. That is not a good thing to see. Now Porum does go down a little bit, but the Big Bang right after that nuke. Let's hope it got nerfed.
Oh, it did. She only took about 600 damage from that Big Bang, so she does survive that.
Well done, Dragus. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. And a Cure 4 going off, gonna get, and of course we saw some nice mage equipment, white mage equipment earlier with that white shirt, so this Cure 4 should do a good decent amount of curativeness. We see Black Hole go off, which will remove the Berserk status, but still a couple more attacks going off from our runners, Avenger attacks, and yeah, we're doing a good bit of damage to this guy, so another nuke going off. Direct nuke happening on Devimus, and we see the flash. GG Dragus, well executed. GG
Dragus finishing up his run coming in fourth with the time of 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 27 seconds. Get your GGs out, chat, and congratulations to Dragus for this run and saving the world, saving the planet for free enterprise.
GG, Dragus. What a champ. Finishing it to the end. I love seeing that. I really do. This is a lovely race, lovely seed. And it's been a lovely time commentating with you, Maggie.
And you as well, Alexa. It does look like Dragus has declined the interview for tonight. Understandable after coming in last place. Make sure you give him and the rest of our runners a follow. They gave us a spectacular race tonight for our first of the 2 play-in races that we're going to see.
And I feel like we had a spectacular restream team as well, with Terasi restreaming and it's Paranoia tracking for us. Thank you both so much. Again, thank you also to you, Maggie, for being in the commentary booth with me. We are about to raid Bahamut X for some more wonderful free enterprise nonsense going on, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Just a quick reminder that there is one more play-in race tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be between Pizza, Chokashura, Penguinator, and Mechalink. And the winner of that race, only the person who comes in first place, is going to be moving on, along with the 3 who came in first, second, and third tonight. So join us back here at RPG Limit Break tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your evenings.
Thank you, everyone.